Hello, friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I know this past weekend was Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, and hope you had a wonderful weekend. For myself, I wanted to do something different. So there's this new tea place in town that I wanted to try out some high tea. And so we went out for tea time. It was supposed to be the three of us, but my daughter wound up not feeling so good. So she stayed behind, and it was my husband and I. And then we also hung out with friends at the beach. So super fun weekend, nice and relaxing. And I hope you all were able to have a wonderful Mother's Day celebration somehow. So I have been really intrigued with the number of clients that I've been working with who tell me a lot. I hear this a lot with friends, I'll hear it with my clients, is that I just need more willpower, or I just need to be more disciplined. And I really want to get underneath that calling, that kind of talk that we have to ourselves, and really see what's behind that. Because I think there's a deeper level we want to get to that's really going to help set us free, that doesn't come, surprisingly, from willpower and being more self-disciplined. Now, I'm not saying self-discipline is a bad thing and it's not needed or any of that. I'm just saying there's something deeper than that going on. And as I've been listening to other people's podcasts, I love podcasts. I think that's why I love to podcast, because I have just some podcast mentors in the space, people that I follow that I absolutely adore, and I learn so freaking much from them. For me, it's like going to college without having to pay for it. Like, you just get to sit in on what other people are learning about, and they're willing to teach you for free. It's amazing. And since I find it so valuable and amazing and it lights up my life, that's why I think I love doing it, is to hopefully light up your life, and hopefully you find the content very valuable and amazing. And so I bring that up because one of my podcast mentors that I absolutely adore, I don't always get to listen to his show, but he's got some really amazing experts on his show. And what I love about him so much is that he's so articulate. Not only is he so knowledgeable, he's just so articulate. And that's Peter Attia. And I read his book a few months ago, sometime last year, Outlive. And if you haven't read that book and you're interested in improving your health span, you're interested in improving your lifespan, you're interested in having optimal energy and longevity, like these are all goals of mine, I highly recommend his book. And I bring him up today because we're going to be talking about emotional health today. I really think that a lot of us aren't emotionally healthy. And we'll go into that and what that means. But in his book, the last chapter, if you turn to the table of contents that I have here, I'll show you a picture of the book if you're watching on YouTube. The last chapter of his book is awesome. I mean, it made me cry. It was that good. I mean, the whole book is awesome, but the way he ended it in this last chapter, it just made me love Peter Attia even more. He talks about his own emotional struggles throughout childhood and adolescence. And of course, some of those struggles that he credits that made him successful today. But some of those maladaptive behaviors, which were adaptive then and protective and helpful, turned to be maladaptive later on. And so the title of the chapter is The High Price of Ignoring Emotional Health. And I just want to let that land a bit, because there is a high price we pay if we aren't able to manage our emotions, right? We know about emotional intelligence, emotional IQ. It's talked about a lot finally now in corporate America, and it's a thing, right? If we don't handle our emotions properly in any aspect of our life, technically we can harm ourselves and others, right? I mean, think of how many people are emotionally harmed because of bad parenting or criticism that's constantly given to them, or not enough attention, right? Because their parents were not emotionally available for them. And so they're living a life, right, dealing with the emotional tragedy that they grew up with, and maybe potentially passing that on. And so emotional health really is so important, because I think that's where a lot of our maladaptive behaviors like over drinking, overeating, excessive scrolling, excessive shopping, And I love how Peter T admits to what he does, to when he's not feeling emotionally healthy, right? Some of the maladaptive behaviors he still has. And this is not about being perfect. It's about recognizing our blind spots, or if we already know our blind spots, really working on the solution, the real solution. And I think that really comes down to looking at our emotional health. So if you're thinking you need more willpower, I hear this a lot. I need more willpower. I need to be more self-disciplined. I think it goes deeper than that. I think that's surface level. But if we just keep looking at willpower, just think about what willpower feels like in your body. It's like forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. Right? That'd be like telling my daughter, I know you're feeling under the weather. I know you're feeling sick, but you must come to this high tea to make me feel good or to give me validation that I'm your mother. Like I'm your mother, no matter if you stay home or you come with us, right? I'm still celebrating Mother's Day, whether you're there or not. I'm still a mom if you come or you don't. I'm still a mom if you're in my house or not, right? To guilt or shame her into that would be, I think, a form of an emotional abuse. And I choose not to do that. But I also have my own emotional health, right? And I can see how some people can do that because they aren't emotionally well. And so they look for their emotions to feel better by other people, right? And I'm not saying not to be with other people, just saying when other people feel well and want to be there, that's emotional health. And so forcing yourself to do something like willpower generally doesn't work long term. It may work for a one-time deal, short-term success. That's why like diets, woohoo, we're all gung-ho. We got the willpower, we got the motivation. It's all working and then it stops working. Just like with stopping over drinking, you can't do it with just willpower alone. And I talk about this in a previous episode, willpower versus brain power. Such a powerful episode. It's done years ago. I probably should bring that back and revisit that since it's been so long. But really think about how forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do is not going to be sustainable on the long term. It's like hating to do something and saying, oh, I just wish I liked it. I just want to, have more willpower to keep doing it. And so forcing yourself to do something is way different than what we're going to talking about in this episode, which is really about allowing what is. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of ease that comes with allowing. So if you are doing a diet that's like very restrictive or something you don't see that you can eat this for the rest of your life, or a lifestyle that you can't do this type of meal, like if it's like, say keto or paleo or plant-based or whatever, and you can't sustainably do this for a very long time, of course the results are going to be short-lived. So that's why I'm not a fan of just one type of meal plan. And that's what we talk about in Metabolic Makeover. We are not assigning one meal plan because we know not one meal plan works for everybody. You have to customize it to what works for your lifestyle. That's why I'm such a proponent of lifestyle medicine. Even the things that I choose in my life may not work the best for the way you want to operate in your life and what's going to make you feel the best in your life. This year, I decided to give up alcohol. Was I 100% consistent with it to date? No, but I have to tell you, the results have been pretty amazing. Do you want that for your life? Are you there? Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe just drinking less and living that lifestyle feels amazing to you. So going back to restricted diets or following one type of diet and saying, oh, I must do it this way because this works for Catherine down the street or Emily over there or somebody else. That's great. We can experiment. But if it's something that you can't see doing for a long period of time, you may want to consider what is going to work for you. And so also when we look at just drink trackers, in my Drink Less Lifestyle program, right, in Epic U, we're talking about following a drink plan. Now, if you just do following a drink plan alone, you're probably not going to get the results that you want if you aren't emotionally healthy. So if the drink plan isn't working for you, if a diet meal plan isn't working for you, my sense is that you are not emotionally regulated. you're out of alignment with how you feel about the process. And if you feel it's forcing you to do something you don't want. So of course it's not going to work, right? You can't force somebody to do something for a very long time. Well, I guess you can, but we don't do that anymore. Hopefully, right? That would be like going back to the dark ages when we'd force people to do things. But you can't force yourself to do something if you don't enjoy it. That's using willpower, and force is not a good energy. We are energetic beings. And so we want to feel good when we do things. So creating that emotional safety is foremost the key part. You want to feel emotionally safe in order to be able to carry out emotional regulation. Now, I say that because some people have had trauma, they've had triggers around alcohol, triggers around food. Maybe they've been anorexic or bulimic or struggled with dieting. Maybe they've been a past model. Maybe they were really forced to clean their plate growing up. There could be all kinds of issues around food or around drinking that come from earlier adolescence or childhood. And those are important to look at. Because if there's not a form of safety to let go of something, it's going to be really hard for our brain to grasp the tools to do that. Because biologically, it doesn't feel good. Now, I will say that's a very small subset of clients that I work with. Most of my clients don't have a lot of that. They just have this like nagging desire for alcohol, this nagging desire to eat, this nagging desire that I don't know why I can't lose the weight, right? And so we tackle those, but in a way that we're also bringing in the emotional regulation. Because if we don't bring that piece in, the results won't last. They will be inconsistent. They'll be good one week, not good the next. And so when you're good one week and not the next, think about what you're doing on the week that you are good versus the week you, quote, aren't good or aren't following your plan. And most of the time we don't follow our plan because we feel it's too hard. We don't want to do it. We don't feel like it. We don't feel like going to the gym. We don't feel like eating that kind of food. We don't feel like only having one drink or 0 drinks. And what does that tell us? That tells us, oh, the whole reason I'm not doing it is because of my emotions. Or I don't feel like sticking to one drink. I want to go bigger and have more fun and be a party girl. And so I'm going to have 2 and 3 and maybe even more. Right? That comes back to emotional management, emotional regulation. And so when you do the thing that you constantly do, your body finds that, oh, this is what we do. So our body also identifies that as, oh, this is our comfort zone. And some people will misclassify that and say, oh, that's where my body feels safe because that's what I always do. And I want to remind you that alcohol and too much of it is not safe. Likewise, it's not safe to live in a body that's overweight, right? Because we know that that can potentiate many other diseases, right? Not just from a vanity perspective, but really from a disease perspective. And so we know that that is not the healthiest alternative, right? So even though our brain may be accustomed to it, be really careful to say, oh, this is okay. This is safe. This won't be harmful to my body later on. Because we don't know that. And in fact, the data shows just the opposite. So if we're doing those things and we're not really thinking about it, we're not really clocking it, we're just saying, oh, that's just what I do. Just notice how you want to numb out to the truth. And I think it's really important to understand because people will say like, well, why do I keep lying to myself? Well, I think it's because you're numbing out the truth when you're imbibing in these behaviors. You're basically saying, oh, it doesn't matter, or I don't care, not in this moment. I'll care about it tomorrow when I have the hangover, or when the scale's not going down, or when I can't fit into my clothes, then I will care. Because then it means I will care enough then to do the work it requires to reverse that. And here's the catch, my friend. The work doesn't get easier over there. It's like that whole mentality, I'll start tomorrow. I'll care more after the weekend. It's like we say that because in the moment we truly believe ourselves that it will feel easier. It will feel easier come Monday. It will feel easier because it's the start of a new month. It will feel easier after the weekend. And I'll tell you that it doesn't. Because come any Monday in the past, come any May 1st, June 1st in the past, and you've started it, you may have had some motivation, but did you continue it? And if you're not continuing it, that means like you're having to work with the emotions that come up when you don't feel like doing something, right? And that is what emotional mastery is about. It's not to say that you are going to feel good all the time. And that's what I think people get wrong, is they think when I master my emotions, it means I get to feel good all the time. And I'll tell you, some people think that that's the measure or the barometer of success, right? Like when we look at, just think of like when you're in adolescence or your young 20s and you're kind of naive and you're just starting out in the world, you're just going to make the world a better place. Like I used to think that I'm just going to heal people with medicines. I'm going to be this amazing pharmacist. I'm going to be able to concoct all this alchemy that's going to make their bodies feel amazing and rid pain and cure heart disease and cure cancer. Like I had all these great big dreams. And I love that I had those great big dreams. And the reason I had those great big dreams is because I saw so much pain and suffering. Right. And knowing that we are going to have that pain and suffering, right? And that is part of the process. Not saying we stick with it, but we learn from it. And anybody who's successful in life is not happy all the time. I mean, I look at powers up there that have, wealth or power or some kind or form of success. And I read about them in the news and their anger management issues and their bouts of anger and their criticisms and how they don't handle themselves emotionally well all the time. So it's not realistic to think you're going to feel good all the time. And the key word in there is all. You will feel good a lot of the time. And actually, when you cut back on these maladaptive behaviors, because it's been a struggle for you for so long, you are going to constantly look to yourself, this new self, when you overcome on the other side and say, wow, like it's been years since I overdrank to the excess I used to. Years. Like I'm still shocked that I live in this body and haven't done that behavior because it was such a norm for me. Am I telling you right now that my life is perfect and I'm happy all the time and I'm yay and I don't have any anger issues and I never get frustrated? And those were the two key emotions that were driving me for my Chardonnay behavior, a bottle of Chardonnay a day. No, I still get that angry. I just know how to manage it now. Manage it without alcohol and in a healthy way. In a way that serves me, in a way that's not feeling forced. So I really want you to hear that my life isn't like rainbows and unicorns. It is that I can manage those emotions in a way that now serves me and is not maladaptive. Only because I learned skills to do that. Not because some fairy dust came out of the sky. Not because I read one good book that fixed me. Like all the things that I thought would happen. I've read plenty of great books where I've developed and I've taken those tools and taught them to others and taught them to my clients and put them in my program. Plenty of tools. Yeah, you don't have to come up with it yourself, right? There are people teaching these tools, but it's being willing to work with them and integrate them into your life. And that is the difference. It's not knowing about them. It's not a cognitive process, my friends. It is an integration into your life. And when you learn to integrate these tools into your life, they change your life. They have to, because you're no longer practicing the same behaviors. You are doing a pattern interrupt and you are doing a different behavior. So of course they're going to change your life. And small changes can change your life significantly. Let me give you an example. As recently at a mastermind, I love to attend women networking events, entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur myself, right? I love to be surrounded with women who are open-minded, creative, love giving back to others. And my friend does these beautiful masterminds. If you're in San Diego and you are a creative woman looking for an entrepreneurial group or two or three, I've got a few for you. Love to hook you up. Just reach out. I really want to surround myself with women who empower other women, not the greedy kind, not the it's all about me, not the kind that wants all the fame and fortune and not give any away, right? It's like we're in this together and let's rise each other up. Let's lift each other up. So I was just at this mastermind and I loved this story that one of the participants there told. She is older than me and had a more significant drinking history than myself. And according to how she relates to it, it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. And she gave up alcohol and it completely changed her life. One thing, my friend, completely changed her life. She's happier. She's healthier. She's wealthier. She has her own business now, something she couldn't have done while still drinking. Wouldn't have the cognitive capacity that she has now, wouldn't have had the emotional capacity that she has now. She couldn't regulate her emotions. She agrees, like, it's an emotional thing. Yes, we call it a mental disorder, but really it's a mental emotional disorder, right? Because you get these compulsive behaviors to do something based on your emotions. And so emotional regulation is definitely a skill you need to up-level your life. Whether you overdrink or overeat or whatever you do, these skills are life skills. And so that is just one example of a small change making a huge difference in your life. And just think about it. If you got rid of, people like to say that monkey on my back, if I just lost the last 12 pounds, if I just lost the last 5 pounds, I just worked with a client. Gosh, that just came out in my newsletter. Worked with this client, couldn't get the last 6 pounds off. She tried everything. She came into metabolic makeover and we changed one thing. She was already eating clean. She was already doing the exercises that worked for her body. She had a Peloton that she was pretty religious to working out. She knew the exercises that worked to get the first 11 or 12 pounds off. And now she was just stuck with this like last 6. And so we just changed one small thing. We, looked at her labs. I tested her cortisol. I looked at all these things. We changed one small thing and boom, the fat started melting away. She did her measurements a couple of weeks later and it was fat that was coming off while she was building muscle. She's like, this is amazing. This is amazing, right? And I think for a lot of us, we think it has to be this humongous change the diet, start exercising, do this, do this, do this. And yes, all of those components are important, but I don't want to lose that you can make one small change and it really impacts what you're targeting and what you want. And so for a friend giving up alcohol and now having this high power business and just killing it here in San Diego, I'm just loving her story and that she wasn't too late to the game. She didn't give up based on age. She didn't give up and say, I'm too old for this. She kept going because she believed in herself and she wanted to be well. And that's my wish for you. As you're hearing this, you're saying, oh my gosh, yeah, I might have some emotional issues. Yeah, that's okay. And we can learn to overcome them. I have them as well. Anger, disappointment, stress. Oh my gosh, I have a full-time job and I'm running this and I'm doing this and I'm on the committee over here and I want to be involved in my community over there and I want a social life and I've got, a child to raise and I just have one and I was feeling overwhelmed and I just wasn't able to understand how to regulate my emotions. And so this is a big piece we talk about inside of Drink Less Lifestyle and Epic You. And it's such a big piece that I wondered if even if you weren't struggling with alcohol, and maybe you're just struggling with social media or scrolling or overworking or whatever it is, I wanted to pull out this piece that we talk about in Drink Less Lifestyle and Epic You, pull out this piece. So if you just wanted to get this little mini course that you could, and it's called Mastering Your Emotional Health. And you get this workbook that I'm holding up here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, 19-page workbook, you are going to get skills that you practice and integrate into your life. And you can find this on epicu.com/shop on my shop page. There's a whole bunch of resources there, but this is one of the resources that I hear time and time again. Sherry, when I do this, when I practice this, wow, I really starts to see how my emotions are controlling my life. And emotions aren't bad. We like the good ones. We like the negative ones. The negative ones fuel us to tell us where something is out of alignment. If we're constantly angry or disappointed or stressed, maybe that's telling us something. We're not communicating with our child the right way. We're not in the right job. Something needs to change. I mean, think about it. A lot of people don't change until the pain gets so bad. They don't work on the 5 pounds until it's 25 pounds. Now it's like, okay, now I really have to do something about this. Now I have pre-diabetes. Now all my health blood work is not looking so good. My blood pressure is up. I get winded just climbing up 3 or 4 steps, right? So those signals are like, oh, I shouldn't have ignored this for so long. That's why pain sometimes is great. That's why we don't want to numb it, because it's going to show us where we're out of alignment with our life and what we can do if we sit with it just for a little bit. Not that we invite it in for years and years and years and do nothing with it. No, we invite it in so we can transform it. And I help you do that with a few of the tools in this workbook. And then also I do that when I work with my clients one-on-one or in my coaching programs, because I will tell you, our emotions sometimes have full control over what our decisions are, and that can be detrimental to the results that we want to achieve. That could be detrimental to the goals that we want to achieve. If we want to lose weight, and we want to do these things that are going to keep our body healthy, we don't want to be run by our emotions that may take us out of alignment or may take us into these maladaptive behaviors that aren't working for us. Maybe they worked for us 10, 20, 30 years ago, but they stopped working for us now. And how do we know that? We do. Our bodies tell us. Our bodies have that wisdom. Our bodies know that, okay, I'm doing this in excess and it's not feeling good. And I'm ready to invite in that change. So, my friend, if you want to be your epic self, look at where you can improve your emotional well-being, your emotional health, and watch that transform your life. If you need help, you can check out any of my programs at epicu.com, and I'd be delighted to chat with you so that you can make the change and be your epic self. All right, my friend, until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks for listening to the Health Habits and Epic Living podcast. If you're ready to take the next step to improve your health, wellness, and lifestyle goals, head over to www.epicu.com and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Again, that's EPICYOU.com. Please note that the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice.